How's it going, guys? EJR here. I'm actually going to be doing my first build video here for Turbo Warren's new ZX10. It's got a little under 200 miles on it. It's what I call delivery stock right now. Has not a thing done to it. Still has the tail tidy on it, the factory ugly one. I don't know if you guys are familiar with who Turbo Warren is, but he gets his name from the fact that he has a Turbo Busa, and it's actually beaten Boosted H2 at one point. They should be having a rematch real soon. But this is his, he wants to beat up on some BMW bike, so he calls it. So what I'm going to be doing to this bike is basically almost turning it into the bitch Ninja. It's not quite going to be there. It's going to have all its brake rotors, which get a lot of flack on for not having any of those. It's going to have the factory wheels. We're not going with carbon wheels on it. It's going to get a 2-inch drop. Mine's dropped about 3 inches. Mine, personally, is the bitch Ninja. But yeah, basically I'm going to be doing a rundown. I did some draggy pulls yesterday, which is a GPS-based unit, and the bike is pretty awful slow. Like, it's disgusting. Like, the fact that Kawasaki would ship a bike this slow and call it fast, pretty crazy. But it took about 16.5 seconds or so to get from 60 to 170 miles an hour, and that was even a struggle. 60 to 130 was 5.4. I have the numbers. I'll post them up in the video when I actually make it. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be pinning the ECU with the cable for Woolwich, and that goes in the back here. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to flash first the Euro map into it, so it's basically a non-restricted stock bike, which is the way they come in Europe or overseas. And then I'm going to go out and make some more draggy pulls because I'm curious to see the difference of what a factory stock bike runs like with the restrictions on and the restrictions off. Alright guys, we're back here at the garage. The next order of business is I actually have to pin the Woolwich on-bike harness into the ECU, which is this guy. There's only one pin. Alright, and this is just the extension harness. There is more harness to it, but this here stays on the bike. So if I ever tune your bike in person, this would go onto it, and it would stay there, and never come off. Alright, flash is successful. Stock EU map in the bike. Let's see what it does later. Unfortunately, I have to wait a little while for traffic to die down, and then I'm going to go to Mexico quick and get some pulls in. Alright guys, I'm back at the house now, and I got a chance to go out last night with the Euro map and see what the bike could actually do in all stock form. On the left side here is the US Spec draggy pull, and on the right side is the EU Spec draggy pull. They're both clean runs, both on the same road. Alright, and now if you go to the US Spec one, you'll see it did 60 to 130 and 541. That's leaving in second gear. Okay, and also did 1630, 60 to 170. Now, just killing the restrictions for the US Spec map, which is basically just throttle bodies, the bike did 60 to 130 and 49, still starting in second, and 1279, 60 to 170. Now, most of you guys actually know the difference between the Euro Spec and the US Spec ECU in terms of what's happening with throttle bodies. For those who don't, though, I want to give you a little crash course here with Woolwich. Okay? Now, this is a factory US Spec map. I'm going to zoom in here for you. Alright, and now, this is gear 1. And as you can see, we have 11,500 RPM to 14,000 RPM right here. And up top, we have TPS. Alright, and now at 100% throttle, right here, this column, okay, the throttle body starts shutting in first gear at 11,500 RPM, down to 60% throttle by 14,000. In gear 2, it starts shutting a little later at 12,000 RPM, but it's now down to 50% throttle by 14,000 RPM. And that stays the same in gear 3 as well. Now in gears 4 through 6, it changes to 98% throttle at 11.5 and just under 48% throttle at 14,000 RPM. So basically that's half throttle when you're racing this bike. Bone stock US bike. Now, for the sake of science, let's bring up a factory EU map. Let's go to the same throttle map here. Let's go to gear 1. Now again, 12,000 to 14,000 RPM. And let's go over here to 100% throttle. And hey, look. This whole area is 100%. Okay, and now mind you, these numbers you see in these cells here are percentages of TPS. So what that means is at 100% throttle twist, you're getting right from here down 100% of that throttle twist. Okay, so the bike is unrestricted, and that there is what's causing that huge gain for the EU bike. Now, when these guys test, and all these British guys on these bikes, they're testing the bike on the left, or excuse me, the right-hand side, not the left-hand side bike. That's what we get in the US. This is what the Europeans and the Brits get. Lucky bastards. But anyway, this is what I wanted to show you guys, and this is probably going to conclude the first video of this bike, just testing what the bike is from the factory, both ECU flashes. So next step, we're going to be putting on an Acura exhaust, and I'm going to put in a fuel map for the Acura exhaust. I might bump the rev limiter, I haven't fully decided. I'm trying to get specifically a before and after of the exhaust and how the exhaust affects the bike. And we're going to a good exhaust, an Acura full system. So that will be video number 2, and I'll show you some instructions on how to install that. But anyway, alright guys, take care. It's been a pleasure.